Today's headlines: Vietnam and Russia enhance comprehensive strategic partnership. And later on, government issues first resolution on socio-economic development in 2025. Good evening. You're watching today's headlines, where we bring you the top stories of the day. This afternoon, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính hosted a welcoming ceremony for Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin at the presidential palace. Afterwards, the two prime ministers held talks. The two prime ministers agreed on directions to promote comprehensive cooperation between the two countries. They agreed to strengthen dialogue, consolidate political trust, and promote contacts and delegation exchanges. The two prime ministers requested the committee and ministries and sectors continue proposing measures to promote bilateral cooperation. The two sides also discussed international and regional issues of mutual concern, and they pledged to continue close coordination and mutual support of multilateral forums. Party General Secretary To Lâm met with the Russian Prime Minister on the same day. The party chief welcomed the productive talks between the Russian and senior Vietnamese leaders, highlighting Prime Minister Mishustin's first visit to Vietnam. He reaffirmed Vietnam's strong partnership with Russia and outlined steps to strengthen ties further. National Assembly Chair Trần Thanh Mẫn also met with the Russian Prime Minister, expressing readiness to host the chair of the State Duma and co-chair the 4th Inter-Parliamentary Cooperation Committee session. He called for removing technical barriers to enhance cooperation in various fields, supported Russia's role in the Asia-Pacific region and cooperation with ASEAN, and advocated for the peaceful resolution of East Sea disputes based on international law. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính and his spouse hosted a banquet for the diplomatic corps in Hanoi on Monday, extending warm wishes for the traditional Lunar New Year holiday. The Prime Minister expressed sincere gratitude to countries, international partners, ambassadors, and organizations for their trust and valuable support. The Prime Minister pledged continued support to ambassadors and international organizations, ensuring Vietnam serves as their second home. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired the 5th meeting of the Red River Delta Region Coordination Council this morning. The Prime Minister emphasized that the region must achieve double-digit growth by 2025 to usher in a new era of national growth. He directed the region to maintain its focus on growth while removing institutional and policy barriers. The Prime Minister also called for implementing the new organizational apparatus in the first quarter, advancing Resolution 57's science and technology initiatives, and accelerating transport infrastructure projects. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính has signed Resolution 01, which outlines key tasks and solutions for implementing the Socio-Economic Development Plan and state budget estimates. The government targets GDP growth of at least 8% in 2025, with aims to reach double digits under favorable conditions. Resolution 01 emphasizes developing high-quality human resources. It also focuses on comprehensive cultural and social development, ensuring social security, addressing climate change and natural disasters, strengthening environmental protection, and promoting regional connectivity and effective planning. Coming up next, GSO reveals minimum living standard of Vietnamese in 2024. And 4 brain-dead donors save 15 organ failure patients. Now moving on to other news, the minimum living standard for Vietnamese people is 1.8 million Vietnam dong, or $70.8 per person per month. This is according to the preliminary results of the 2024 Household Living Standards Survey by the General Statistics Office. Of this amount, the minimum living standard in urban areas is $90.5, while in rural areas, the level is below average at almost $67. Compared to 2023, the minimum living standard in 2024 has increased by 6.7%, while the average income per capita has risen by 8.8%. The minimum living standard is determined based on the equivalent value of food items necessary to provide 2,100 kilocalories per day for one person and other essential items to meet the basic daily needs of life. Now, in just 1 week, VTVgo Friendship Hospital facilitated 4 families in donating organs from loved ones who had been tragically declared brain dead. And as a result, 15 patients in the final stages of organ failure receive life-saving transplants. This record-breaking achievement in organ donation efforts reflects a shift in public awareness about how organ donation saves lives.
A 63-year-old male patient had been living with cirrhosis for over 20 years and developed cancer 6 years ago. Doctor determined that treatment options were ineffective and the patient required a simultaneous liver and kidney transplant.
My father, before the transplant, only had 6 to 9 months left. It's truly fortunate, and we are so grateful to the person who donated their organs.
Connecting blood vessels also decreased significantly, from 45 to around 20 minutes. The surgery lasted under 6 hours, and by the next morning, the patient was able to have the ventilator removed.
In 2024, VTVgo Friendship Hospital successfully performed 20 organ donations from a total of over 740 brain-dead patients. After conducting survey to understand the reasons families refuse organ donation, the hospital has developed appropriate strategies to approach these families.
The main reason people refuse to donate organs is the belief in maintaining the body intact. The second reason is public opinion. The third reason is that in a nuclear family, reaching a consensus among all members on organ donation is not easy.
Looking ahead, VTVgo Friendship Hospital plans to expand the transplant programs to include small bowel, pancreas, and uterus transplant, as well as transfer organ transplant techniques to lower-tier hospitals.
Temperatures in the highlands of Lào Cai have dropped dramatically in recent days, reaching below freezing, and frost has appeared in some areas. As date approaches, frost poses a significant threat to farmers in Sapa and Iti, Basat. Although the weather becomes warmer as the sun rises, frost still covers the ground and crops. And this weather could cause serious damage to agriculture and livestock without proactive measures. Locals are advised to act swiftly to prevent and minimize cold-related damage to crops and livestock. Fresh golden apricot blossoms, a symbol of spring, are being carefully nurtured at orchards across the country to ensure timely supplies for the 2025 Lunar New Year. Gardeners are now plucking the apricot leaves, and this year cold weather arrived earlier than usual. Thus, the leaf plucking process commenced a few days earlier than last year. So the apricot blossoms will bloom when New Year arrives and last until the 20th of the first lunar month. There may be a rising labor demand to care for the apricot trees, especially during this period. Currently, each leaf plucker is taking care of 5 to 6 trees and earning around $4 per day. The iconic Phố Ông Đồ, or Street of Calligraphy Masters, opened in Ho Chi Minh City on Monday. And for over a decade, this street has been a sought-after destination for those wishing to embrace the festive spirit of the Lunar New Year. In today's bustling modern life, it has also become a popular meeting place for young people who share a love for the art of calligraphy.
For many years, Lee has eagerly anticipated in the opening day of Calligraphy Masters Street. This year, she arrived early to request a calligraphy piece.
This is a cultural tradition, so I request a piece to preserve it.
This year's calligraphy street gathers over 50 calligraphy masters. Interestingly, many of them are remarkably young. Nguyen is a veteran participant after attending 15 years running.
As a calligrapher, I deeply respect my patrons because they help preserve our nation's traditions.
Choosing a fitting piece for someone based on their personality is a challenge, but it is also an opportunity to connect and understand each other better.
The growing interest among young people in calligraphy signals a promising future for preserving this cultural heritage.
We plan to incorporate new elements in the coming years, including English calligraphy and collaborations with international calligraphy artists. These artists come from Asia, specifically Southeast Asia. I think they will make an interesting mix for this year's TED cultural activities.
Through their efforts, these young calligraphers continue to spread the beauty of this traditional art, keeping its spirit alive as the Lunar New Year approaches.
And now let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today's headlines. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.